All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Employability Skill Series, where we look at the top skills employers are looking for in candidates. Each week, we will cover different topics with thoughts and insights from professionals in a variety of industries. I am your host, Megan Morrow, Senior Associate Director of Experiential Learning and Employer Relations. And today I have Takara Graham, Associate Director of Business Internships, as my guest, and we will be discussing the importance of the ability to work as a team in the workplace. Takara is a performance-driven professional who's had the privilege of working closely with faculty, staff, and students. Throughout her journey, she has cultivated a deep understanding of the importance of fostering supportive and inclusive environment for learning and growth. She's been actively involved in academic advising, career coaching, program coordination, instruction, and instructional design for over 12 years, all of which she has honed her interpersonal and leadership skills. She has dedicated her career to enriching educational experiences, mentoring future leaders, and contributing to innovative curriculum development. As an advocate for lifelong learning, she believes in the power of education to shape individuals and society. So, good morning, Takara. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone.
So, Takara, so you and I work closely together. I know you very well on a personal and professional level. That's a
Yes,
beautiful bio, but can you tell us just a little
thank
bit
you.
more about yourself and kind of what you do here at Florida Southern?
Sure. So I have been in higher education for about, oh wow, 14 years now, I would say. If we're, yeah, 2025, about 14 years now, in all facets of higher education. So currently I am the Associate Director of Business Internships and Experiential Learning. So my role at Florida Southern, I help all of our business students secure internships, as well as I teach the internship courses. I help my colleagues in career services facilitate workshops, events, and just help with career coaching as a whole. My office is in Becker on the second floor, 233, and this is just a safe space. So even if you're not a business student and you wanted to come and say hello and just chat, you're always welcome. But I'm here to be a wealth of knowledge and information for all of our students at Florida Southern.
Thank you. And I mirror that as well. I'm also in Becker. I'm on the third floor. Takara and I our doors are open to all students. We do specialize in our business students, but we will welcome anybody. I know my office hours, my drop-in hours are right after this. It's 11:30 to 1:30. What yours are, I have them here. Yours are Wednesdays 10 to 12 and Thursdays 1 to 2. But we're
Yes.
also available via Handshake. You guys can make appointments with us as well.
Mhm.
Also, to students, if you're one that are on the call, you can please, if you are logged into your computer, you can scan the QR code to mark your attendance. But if you logged in on your phone and you can't scan, I did put the link in the chat pod so that you can mark your attendance as well. So please make sure that you do that so you get credit for that. All right, Takara, we're talking about one of my favorite topics and something
Mhm.
that I think is absolutely pivotal to the success in the workplace, the ability to work on a team. Unless I guess, the only thing I can think of is like, unless you're doing like IT and you're kind of going to be behind a computer screen, but even then, you're still not a one-man show.
Right.
So let's talk about teamwork. Like, what does that mean to you, and why is that important in the workplace?
Absolutely. So working on a team is important. As Professor Morrow mentioned, whether you're in IT or you're working in higher education, you're working in marketing, communications, you're going to be on a team at some point, if not your whole career. Even if it's just a team of three, you're going to be on a team. So being able to work on a team is going to be very important while you are in your career. Just the trajectory of your career is going to be pivotal on being a team player, simply because you're working with so many people from all walks of life, different areas and backgrounds career-wise. Because even if, let's say, you work in IT, you might have someone who pivoted from higher education and is now doing project management for an IT company, right? So they have a different background, they have different knowledge, different skill sets, but being able to work collaborative and being able to get your work done on that team is still going to be important. And it's also beneficial to the final outcome. So teamwork, I know it's cliche, but definitely teamwork makes the dream work. Like it's so important to be able to get along with your colleagues and be cordial for the greater good of the project, the organization, the company.
I love that. It's funny because I have two little boys. Well, not so little. I have an 18-year-old and
Right.
an 11-year-old. But so my 11-year-old, his one of his chores is to unload the dishwasher, and he has to get up on the counter because he can't quite reach some of the higher shelves. And so sometimes if he's unloading the dishwasher, I'll walk by and I'll start putting the stuff up high, and he does all the time. He's like, "Hey, teamwork makes the dream work." He says it all
It
the
literally
time.
does. Like everyone plays a pivotal role on the team in getting things done and things done correctly. So teamwork is so important.
It really is. And I'm immediately thinking about our expo that we just pulled off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was huge. We
Right.
pulled off this massive expo yesterday, and for if you didn't stop by and see it, you guys really missed out. We had about 70 employers and grad schools that came to the field house yesterday, and that there's no way that one person could have done that. That was an entire collective team, and that wasn't just even career services. We needed facilities to come and set up
Absolutely.
all of those tables and
Safety to help with moving over
safety. Yeah.
employers. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had shuttles going. We had golf carts
Hmm.
going. We even had some of our students, our lovely students, jump in and help. They
Absolutely.
volunteer. And then we had to walk, employers to their tables and we had to check students. And that there's no way that one person could have done that. It would have been a complete, like, it just wouldn't have happened. So teamwork goes everything from just, working together to communication to large scale events, just to small scale events. I mean, just even to this right here. I mean, you
Absolutely.
being on my team and, being my guest on this call right here. This is something I couldn't do without teamwork, having
Absolutely.
this weekly call right here. So that, I mean, how important is that?
I would
Um,
agree.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I would agree. I was agreeing with you.
Can you like is there like when we're talking about the good things about teamwork, is there something that maybe you can think about maybe a time where somebody didn't or maybe like team like maybe didn't kind of come together and maybe whether it's maybe one person or the team collectively couldn't come together and maybe how that kind of hurt the organization?
Sure. So, at my in my previous organization, at my previous role, so right before I came here, I was working with medical students, and we would put on match parties for all of our medical students because a part of our role was if they match, they get invited to a match party in their respective cities where they're in school. So our team was responsible for putting on these match parties. We would have them in Chicago, New York, LA, all places. And each person on the team would have to choose a city to throw the match party. We worked on a team with other departments within the university. But so we did have one person on our team who didn't want to fly for the match party, but someone had already chosen the Miami location, which means our other team member would have need to choose the LA location or the New York location. Needless to say, that team member didn't want to choose any of them because they didn't want to fly. So that in turn caused an issue with our match parties because we needed someone to plan, coordinate, and oversee because that was our department's role. So that means one of us had to pick up the slack on the team of planning and coordinating and then getting someone to facilitate the logistics of that day that was not on our team and didn't really know what that looks like for our team. So it did cause stress. It caused a break or a division within the morale on the team. And it put also our director in a tight spot because now she has to reprimand this team member for not being a team player.
Wow.
But I mean, in the end, we all rallied together. The students had a great match party, but it definitely was a stressful time for our team because someone didn't want to pull their weight. And it wasn't any medical reasons why this team member couldn't fly. Whether it was like anxiety or anything like that, it wasn't. They just didn't want to be bothered with the whole traveling process, which is a part of your role, and you knew that before you got hired.
See,
So,
okay, yeah, that's tough. That's really
That's
tough.
very tough because it's
Yeah.
not like, I mean, for me, I love that part of the job, being able to work for like a week in another city and kind of just do
Yeah.
like plan and coordinate and mix and mingle. That's joyous for me. And you get to choose the city that you want to go in where your students are matching. And it's also told to you when you're in the interview process. So you come into the role knowing that every year at a certain time, you're going to have to travel for work. So if you're not okay with that, then you shouldn't have took the role.
Right. Right. We could go down a whole other rabbit hole on that.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that the negativity and the like it's your job. And that's something, guys, students on the call, you never, ever, ever want to utter these words. Oh,
Yep.
that's not my job. That's not my
Exactly.
job. Because that
Exactly.
negativity just breeds negativity. And
Yep.
whether it's your job or not, step up. Now, I mean, I say that too carefully because, of course, you don't want to be taken advantage of, and you don't want to be like getting dumped on, and like you're the only one stepping up and taking
Right.
on all the slack. You don't want to be that person either. You don't want to be a doormat. But there's going to be times where it's not your job, okay? But that's okay.
Yeah, you
Like
just got to take the initiative or you just got to do it. Maybe it's not taking the initiative, but it's just stepping in and helping a colleague, being a team player, what
oh
that
yeah,
looks like in the work setting. Sometimes you just have to do it. You might not want to stay late after work, but you have to help your team. And in turn, they'll help you at another event or they'll help you just, oh, I'm late today. Can you go for me, right? If I'm late, hey, Megan, can you go see this student for me? Sure,
yeah,
I got you. Hey, Takara, I need to step out. Can you? It works both ways.
all day
So when
long,
you, all day long, when you're a
all day
team
long.
player, one day, what something that you may slip in or lack or just need help or coverage, you have your team member to help you. That's why you have to get along well with your colleagues. Even if you don't like them on a personal level, you need to like them professionally and you need to be cordial for the good of the team.
Absolutely. And students in my class will have heard me say this 100 times, like you spend the majority of your waking hours at work. You spend
Yes,
more time with your work family than you do with your family, and just is what it
absolutely.
is. And,
Hmm.
again, you don't have to like them outside of work, but you have to respect them. And that's
Yes.
something that's pivotal when you are looking for, your job. It's not just the
Hmm.
salary, it's not just the work duties you're going to do, it's the workplace culture because you are going to be spending all this time with, these people.
Yep.
And, Takari, you bring up such a good point, because it's like, if you're going to be that person that's going, hey, that's not my job, that's not my role, when it is, because something you are going to be someone who is going to need someone to have your back at some point, whether it's a
Hmm.
flat tire, whether, you wake up, for whatever reason your alarm didn't go off, or you're just having a bad morning because those
Or you're
happen. We're
running late
humans.
from a meeting and you forgot that you had another meeting or you had another appointment and you might just need someone, your colleague or your team member to send a quick email. Hey,
Yeah,
so and so, Megan is running a bit behind from her other meeting. She's going to be about 5 minutes late. She said, go ahead and start the meeting without her. Maybe
all
she
day
just
long.
didn't have the capacity to send it from her phone really quickly, and you're
Right.
here. You can go tell them. So, yeah, I agree. It's just being able to respect your colleagues, being able to work with them and work with them within a capacity that is going to be beneficial for your immediate team as well as the organization as a whole.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times professors in the School of Business have texted me, "Hey, I'm running late. Can you put a note on my door because I have a meeting
Hmm.
with a student at 9:30. I don't think I'm going to make it. Can you just put a note on my door real fast to say, can you either wait for me or can we reschedule?" And again, just us having each other's backs, is just, it's very pivotal. So the teamwork
Hmm.
is we just can't stress that enough. And it doesn't even have to be something huge as far as like, hey, cover my class, which has happened. I've been super sick. I had, I had food poisoning, or a bug, a couple of weeks ago, and I literally could not physically be here. My team stepped up and, they covered for me, and and there was a time where Takara covered my class for me, things like that. Like, it doesn't even have to be something as big as that. It could be something simply as like, sending an email or something like that. But I want to kind of go back a little bit about the negativity. I know this isn't quite 100% like what we were talking about, but negativity. breeds negativity, and
Absolutely.
that will go through a team and an organization like wildfire, and
Absolutely.
that will follow you. And again, if you've been in my class, you've also heard me say never burn professional bridges. This is
Right.
that fire that will start burning those bridges. So whatever you have to say now, Takarna, we have, we're friends. Like we can share if we need to, but unless you have that confidant, like you be careful what you are sharing at work
Absolutely. You don't want to
because oh,
overshare.
right, absolutely, because then that becomes something that can follow you because you think that you're just sharing and you're just kind of venting, but then that gets shared and that gets shared, and then you think that it's in confidence and it's not.
Right.
So
And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you shared something that can hinder your job also. Because at the end of the day, you have to remember that your director, your supervisor, your manager, mentor, whatever the title may be, they still have a role, which is people managing. So at the end of the day, they're going to think about the team as a whole, the logistics of what that looks like, and you oversharing something may not work for the good of the team and it could cause you your job. So be very selective in what you share. That's a piece of advice that I would give anybody going into corporate America. You will have an ally, you will have a confidant, you will have someone or people that you develop a close relationship with, but use your discernment on what you share to your team members, to your department, to your division. Remember, it is still a workplace. So as much as you guys feel like, you're working on a team, it's great, the morale is great, you guys mesh really well, you still want to be very cognizant of what you're sharing. Do not overshare.
yeah, that's a pivotal piece I wanted to make sure that we kind of touched on, because that can come back to bite you big time. It can
Absolutely.
definitely come back to haunt and bite you. All right, so thank you for sharing your story at your previous
Sure.
position. I had a quick story I wanted to share as well. This was actually a higher up in an organization. He was actually the executive director of the entire organization where he preached teamwork. So it was a school for adjudicated youth. He was the executive director. I was over education, so I was the director of education, and then the other side was operations. So we had a director of operations and a director of education. And it was all about like, hey, we're all in this together, so we should help each other out no matter what. And he kind of preached that all the time. The kids had been released from school. Everybody left. We were actually getting ready to leave. It was like 4:15, 4:30. As we're getting ready to leave, one of the students came back. He'd gotten beat up by several of the other students. It was a bad situation. He'd gotten jumped by like 10 kids. So, of course, we stop what we're doing. We call the police. They all had, probation officers because they were all on probation. And this is well past our working hours. We're all supposed to be going home to our families and everything, but we stop what we're doing and we're all there. We're going to wait for the, probation officers. We have to file reports and everything. And the poor kid, luckily he wasn't hurt too bad. But, he was really upset and everything like that. The executive director, who is supposed to be our leader, he literally comes out of his office and he looks at what's going on and he goes, huh, y'all have fun with that. And walked out and left the rest of us just like jaws on the ground. Like, are you kidding? Like,
He's
here's
supposed
somebody
to be
who's
a leader.
right. I mean, like, he was supposed to, like, as a team, he was supposed to lead his team. And I mean,
Absolutely.
just even the comment, like, I mean, it was so condescending. It was so negative. It was like just, and so, I mean, like, not only was he not part of the team, he was not even a leader. And so, we as a team, the rest of us rallying together, this wasn't an education piece. This had nothing to do with education. This was truly an operations piece. And even then, it was after hours. This was truly a probation officer piece. This really had nothing to do with us. But again, this was our kid, and so we were like, no, we got this. We got this poor kid. And to have our executive director just look at us and just have that snide, kind of rude comment, and then just be like, nope, like the respect that we lost for him. And I didn't have much to begin with, for him in the beginning, like none.
Mhm.
And so students like for you like if can you imagine like how much respect you could lose from your colleagues and and your leadership team if if you had that kind of attitude, and here was somebody who was supposed to be our leader.
Hmm.
And it didn't take me long to decide after then, like that was not somebody I wanted to not only work with, but to work for. And
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It did take me long to say, okay, you know what? I can't represent that kind of company. I can't be there anymore. And there's a saying like, and I'm sure Takar, you've heard this too, like people don't leave bad jobs. They leave
They
bad
live bad,
leadership.
man. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Bad management, bad leadership.
Hmm.
And if you find yourself on a team like that, that doesn't have your back, that won't support you, that leaves you high and dry, that's
Hmm.
not a place that you want to find yourself in long term.
Absolutely not. No, you don't. You don't. Because leadership is all about managing of people, people managing. So if your leader isn't someone who is going to take one for the team or be able to help execute a plan with the team, then that's
Hmm.
not someone you want to work for or under because they will easily throw you under the bus to save themselves.
Hmm. Just
They're
like,
not,
mhm.
yeah, they will throw you under the bus to save themselves. In addition to, they're not someone who's going to go to bat to you. Your career is based off of your manager. Yes, you may be ambitious. Yes, you may have the skills. Yes, you may know the people, but your trajectory and how you move within an organization is based off of management. And if your manager sees you clearly, what you bring to the team, what you can bring to a division, they will help you get to places that you want to go to. They will help you grow. If it's a manager who doesn't see your vision or only cares about themselves or is not there for the greater good of the team, you will be stagnant. And that's just what it is. So, definitely, besides being able to work on a team effectively, you need to make sure that when you're going into a career or choosing an organization to apply to and work for, that their personal mission aligns with your personal mission or that they're once you get in the job or you meet with the recruiter, or even hopefully you would get to meet with whom your manager will be, you ask them those tough questions about what their leadership style is. How do they see their team members? Because you want to make sure that the culture and the management style of your potential manager is going to work with your style. And if you think you would feel comfortable working on a team with them.
I like that. That's something I hadn't thought about too. Yeah, the person, because if you have somebody who isn't willing to help you grow in your, in your journey, that is something that also is going to hinder you. Because before I had become the director of education, I was a teacher through the same organization. I worked with this organization for 3 years. I was a teacher for 2 years and I wanted to move up. And I had actually kind of forgot about this. When I finally became director, when I moved into that circle, they said, like we're happy to finally have you kind of move up. And I said, I've been wanting to move up for a while. Well, my director of education refused to put my name in the
See?
throw my name in the hat, she was holding me back and wouldn't let me like advance, because I was a good teacher and she didn't want to lose me, which again, I was like, okay, that's nice. But at the same time, you can't hold me back for your own selfish reasons. And so you have to have somebody that's willing to propel you and push you forward. Oh, T, I lost you.
Sorry, sorry guys,
Okay.
the lights went out.
Oh, yeah, that happens if you sit still. Yeah, we have like motion sensor lights.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's another thing too. Like your team should be, should be your biggest cheerleader and be promoting you. Like for example, like we just lost our executive director. She got another job. She's moving her family back up north, and we're sad because she
Hmm.
was a great leader, and our team is going to be without her. But that's a good thing to be sad because that meant that she was a good asset to our team. But
Absolutely.
if we're going to hate on her and be mad about it, then like who are we? Like that, then that shows that we have kind of low emotional intelligence, and but,
Absolutely.
it's okay to be like, oh man, that stinks for us, but hey, good for
Hmm.
you.
All right.
We need to be cheerleaders for her, and that's
Exactly.
hopefully what you'll find in your job, that people should be happy to see you grow and move, move up. And if you are someone who wants to continue to move up and move up and move up, and you have to be assessing that within your team and your leadership, your leaders, if they're not willing to help you grow, those are some decisions that you're going to be needing to make in your professional journey. Hey, this might not be the best place for me. And again, don't have false loyalty. If you need to move on, you need to move on.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Takar, we're kind of wrapping up here. Do you have any kind of like last, maybe some like words of wisdom or like how the students on the call can kind of cultivate this, this teamwork or what they can work on to kind of hone this skill?
Sure. So what I would say is utilize your teams in college. So whatever your major is, utilize the teams that you work on, whether it's a project in one of your classes, if you're in a sorority or fraternity, those are all teams. So cultivate those relationships and experiences that you have and will have your college years so that they can prepare you for working on a team once you graduate. Even if you're interning and you're working in a team capacity, make sure that you're getting the value out of that experience so that you can take it into the workforce. Because you will be forced to work on a team no matter what area you go into after school, you're going to work on a team. It might not be a big team, but it will be a team in some capacity. So you want to go in with some knowledge of what that looks like and you know how to professionally be a team player. So I would say cultivate all of your experiences and relationships that you can now so that you will be able to effectively work on a team and so that your coworkers or your colleagues will actually like you and like working on a team with you.
Yes, likability is important. You have to
Eh.
be likable. I mean, no, you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, you
Or a
know.
people pleaser, but yes,
No. Yeah, you don't have
likability
to
is
be.
important because you're working with someone. They want to like you. And don't confuse me saying likability is important versus you have to agree or do everything the same way because it's not. So I do want to leave you with that. You are all not going to work the same way, but you want to be someone that's likable, even if you and your team member differ on something. I still like you enough to hear you out and think that the way you're doing this is better than the way I'm doing it.
That's beautifully said. We can, I don't have to like you to respect you, but I
Absolutely.
think, but I can say at least, okay, I'll hear you out. That's beautifully said, beautifully said. Because there are definitely people like I don't care for, but they bring something to the table that I might not have seen in
Absolutely.
that particular light, and I can at least be
Absolutely.
open-minded, and that speaks to emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very nice point. Well, Takara, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights on this super
Sure.
valuable topic. Students, again, you can reach out to either one of us. And if I know that you're connected with me on LinkedIn, if you're in my class, but please connect with Takara as well. And if you want to see either one of us, we do have drop-in hours or make appointments with
Yes.
us on Handshake.
And we
Other than
table in Becker from time to time. So if
Mhm,
you guys are ever over here or want to stop by, you may catch us downstairs tabling as well.
absolutely. And just come by and see us. So.
Sure. Yep.
Big, and then please again scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the chat pod to get your attendance counted. If not, have a wonderful day and good luck on your upcoming finals and go in peace and have a great day. Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys. Everyone have a great Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.